if you're giving me top 5 right now, like right here, right now, what are the 5 best things in the DCU that I'm definitely gonna watch again?
You should press record.
Just for this bit before we actually sit in the proper seats. Hello, everyone.
Yeah,
I would say that number 1.
DCEU official top
If you
listing.
ask me right now,
Yes, what is your DCEU number 1 film, Georgie?
I'd say at the moment it's Suicide Squad, but that's just because I haven't.
2016.
Yeah, no, the Suicide Squad. Like I think,
Yeah.
just because I've now that I own it and rewatching it, it's like there's a lot, but I need Shazam. It's like you could
Interchangeable for you.
between that and
Shazam and Suicide Squad.
and then at
The
number,
Shazam Squad.
and at number 3 is do you know what? If we're including everything, then I'd say Peacemaker at number 3,
Okay.
Birds of Prey at number 4,
Okay.
and number 5 I would say Aquaman.
Okay.
Just because I
interesting,
enjoy what Aquaman was trying to do, but it was just I enjoy one of the 4 films it was trying to be.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think it should have just gone pure Indiana Jones vibe and just tried to not copy essentially like Let's Be Underwater Black Panther, because there was a lot of that kind of similar thing, which I know is difficult because comics. A lot of things are the copies of each other. See Slade Wilson and Wade Wilson, respectively. Thanos and
Yeah.
Darkseid, all those
Yes.
kind of things.
Similarities.
But when the competitor is doing so well in terms of their filmmaking and their output, because over the last few years they've kind of maybe not completely let go, but they've sort of let up on the gas a bit because there is no competition. There might be now, but that we'll get into that later. But I think there was still no shame in let's introduce them one by one, because no one has ever copyrighted, let's do single films and then do a team up thing. Like,
No way.
that's not a thing that you can copyright. Like,
No.
there would have been
No.
no shame in doing that, but doing it differently, telling different stories, because DC have a lot of darker characters with a lot more darker storylines, and
Grittier.
arguably they have the 2 most well-known comic book
Comic book
characters, if
like
not
ever.
characters of
Oldest as
fiction.
well. Oldest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if not just characters of fiction, like on the planet, like Superman and Batman are
Yeah.
iconic.
Yes.
Like if you had to do
Symbol of light and hope and symbol of darkness in equal.
if you had to
Spike.
just like name 3 comic book characters, like it would be Batman, Superman, Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're the 3. Yeah.
They're
the Trinity.
They are probably the most well-known, obviously, with what Marvel has done with the MCU and thus pushing then the comics through as to cross-medium platform
Yeah.
magicness. Your Thors, your Hulk. Hulk's always been popular. Hulk's always been sort of like around that, but like him, Iron Man, Captain America, like all these things, like the Falcon, like you're getting all these characters that are then
Next
up and
generation.
amongst it kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
those are arguably the definitive and the best. And I just think like stuff like Black Adam could have done more.
He could have done more. Yeah.
And
No,
I think
absolutely. I agree.
Shazam was such a nice breath of fresh air when we got it.
And a surprise. For me
Birds
personally.
of Prey was a nice sort of like ripping up what we saw of
Did
Harley
al-
Quinn
yeah.
in Suicide Squad 2016, giving her an arc that carries over the 3 films. If you want to sort of have a
Include
loose
Suicide
trilogy.
Squad. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love the batshit James Gunn-ness of the Suicide Squad. And Peacemaker is arguably one of the best television shows of the year. Let alone.
Oh, definitely. It's
I think
it's ridiculous. It's like the first thing we watch in January, but it is. It's
I think
stood
if
the
you
test
mark
of time.
this up against the MCU stuff so far on television,
Oh,
I would say it would be like it might come out on top. Like it would sort of be like my top 3 would be Peacemaker, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk.
I'm trying to think of every show
Just
we've
Miss
watched
Marvel,
this year.
isn't it?
Peacemaker, Peacemaker, Moon Knight, and I guess third would be She-Hulk. Yeah, I can't think of none of the other shows.
Because the only other one's Miss Marvel, and then we got Secret Invasion coming out.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah. But we've got another special presentation.
Quick,
But we should
quickly, my top 5 for
Go on
DC.
then.
Whilst you rambled.
before we swap seats.
Suicide Squad number 1, the 2016 one, because that's the better one, obviously. No,
Mr.
there's the James Gunn's Mr. Kevin Feige's Suicide Squad. You know, he's here to stay, and I can't wait for more films, not just in the Suicide Squad line, but to see what creative control he might oversee and what obscure random geekiness he's going to bring to the big screen in his universe.
Into that.
And then number 2, the Snyder Cut. I mean, the only reason I put 1 and 2 that way around is because the Suicide Squad, I'm going to see myself watching more when I feel like it's not. The Snyder Cut is more of an event, more of an occasion.
I think it's very much a one-off of, like, you know, satiating the fanboys, giving them what they want, even though a lot of them were fucking horrible, but kind of like, we're never going to get that kind of thing again of, like,
we shouldn't.
The fandom pressuring the studio into, let's release the actual thing, and obviously was not helped by our films are based off of Zack's vision. Zack Snyder's Justice League, for me,
Snyder Cut.
I get why it exists. I'm happy that a lot of people got more out of it than they did the original one. It's still not for me, because I think the discourse around it has soured that taste immeasurably for me, and I think I would rather watch neither than watch one of them.
Okay.
That's kind of my stance on it at the moment.
The Justice League hasn't existed as far as you're concerned.
No, it's not that it hasn't existed. It's kind of like
but even in its current,
it means nothing.
Even in
me.
its current state of, some of them are in Peacemaker, but where's Batman and Cyborg in that?
And all those reboots, and then obviously like Ben Affleck.
You've got 3 Batmen in the Flash, which we don't even know that's ever going to happen. You've got this going on in Batgirl, which you ain't going to see. All this stuff. Is there even a Justice League properly?
And I think with the news this week, there is probably more direction and some course correction and a bit more streamlining that will hopefully. It excites me. I know it excites you.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it
absolutely
is a big step in terms of actually. It's never going to be on the level of Endgame, but it's in terms of going on that road to maybe reward the fans down the line of. All right, look, it's been a few years. Thanks for sticking with us. Here's a Justice League or Justice Society film. Like, here's a team. Let's build towards that. I know that, Henry Cavill has been forthcoming in his words that we shall get into. But while we swap seats, let's just say that welcome to another podcast, episode 223.
223.
With him, Connor.
Yes, me.
And me.
Black Connor.
Okay. That's a Black Adam reference. That's
yeah.
It's not anything bad.
No.
And me.
Suicide George.
And me, whoever I'm about to be. Tag, you're it. We shall be talking briefly, because we'll give people a bit more time to see Black Adam before we.
Fine. Before we rip the DC
arsehole out of it. Yeah. We'll talk about that, a bit of the DC news. And then we'll talk about the end of the Jodie Whittaker era. We won't talk about the era as a whole because, as you'll know,
we're saving for it.
The episode coming the 25th of the 11th of the 2022 year is
of the 59th year of Doctor Who.
It'll be me, Connor, Will, and Andy. Michael is, I think he said, like, it's a family holiday or something.
It's come up.
But we will have him on hopefully either before the end of the year or like just after, because hopefully we can have one where his audio doesn't cut out and we actually get through his stuff on Google Drive and that. Give him an actual chance to not talk about vampires for once.
Leslie.
Lots to look forward to. So we'll just kind of briefly chat about the episode. We'll talk spoilers, but
should we do She-Hulk, because we keep saying it the last couple episodes?
Yes, we'll start with She-Hulk.
Yeah, just get that out of the way because we keep saying
nothing happened.
Nothing. Oh no, trailers.
All right, we'll swap seats. We'll do trailers, and then we'll do.
We can save House of Dragon for when we both watch it. I finished it, but I'm guessing you've started it yet, or haven't?
I haven't started it yet.
No, we'll save House of Dragon.
I think we're sort of trying to finish catching up with The Crown, because obviously Lard not watched it. We're on season 3. We're trying, because 5th of November the 5th season comes out.
Yes.
So we're trying to catch up on that. But let's go.
Let's time warp again.
It's astounding. Time is fleeting. And just like that.
And cut. I sound absolutely no different.
I don't sound like I've been sitting on the other side of the room. Because I literally just pressed the sneaky record while we were talking about DC stuff, because
mid-conversation.
Marvel shills.
Marvel shit.
All you talk about is Marvel. Just make more stuff, DC.
Random post. I mean, I sent it to you off camera, but did you see about toss a coin to your Witcher remake of the first game. Coming.
What, a complete ground up remake or
yeah, Unreal
a
Engine
re-release?
5. Yeah, no, it's Unreal Engine 5, the Witcher remake of the first game. Only on PC. I think it's like 2099. Like barely old game. We want to do this right, so please be patient. It's going to be a while until we can share more details. Okay, but it's in development. It's happening.
Oh, I mean, as long as it comes to console at some point, I imagine
it
because
yeah.
Witcher 3 was long.
It's a franchise I keep playing but not staying for.
It's hard because it's one of those things where it's like you've got to either be all in from the start. It's hard to sort of grow into.
Yeah, I'm still in the first town, just walking around. Like I haven't done anything in that game. I just haven't.
I had a friend that played it, and I watched them play it, and I was like, "This seems like a lot to do. Maybe I'll get to it one day."
Yeah.
Nope, not yet.
No.
Obviously, I think this is partially coming off of the success of the series.
The series, yeah.
Because
the super series, you might say.
Because Henry Cavill has the effect at the moment of just being able to resurrect things.
He does, literally from nothing.
I'd be interested in playing it. Obviously, not like I'm not a PC guy,
no,
so
I'm
I doth not do that. But well, yeah, I think if it came to console, I'd be like,
yeah,
I'm
on
here
board.
for it. But
we'd have the whole trilogy then as well.
we
I
would.
don't know if they are trying to
Be
do
a fucking long playthrough.
I don't know if they are trying to do a fourth one. I don't know.
I think that's been up in the air for a while. I think
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of years' time, with the series still going on, it would be a thing of like, and here's a fourth game.
Another one. Yeah.
Because it's like obviously with that new engine that they're then putting the first one through to like ground up remake it, like they're very beautiful, like well thought out, like well plotted,
expansive games. Yeah.
so expansive, and it will obviously take some time, and I wouldn't be surprised if 2-3 years time maybe it was like and here's The Witcher 4 coming.
Yeah. The final installment of this Geralt.
I don't know because
I think the Witcher series is based on a bunch of books, and the
Yes.
games take place, from what I understand, after some of the books.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like old man Geralt at this point.
Yeah.
After Witcher 3. I don't know, I haven't played it, I'm just assuming. But I think Witcher 4 could be like the old man Logan, like, this is the finale, we'll go out on the swan song.
I mean, it depends how popular the series is, because they might just
Yeah,
be
of
like,
course, the show,
let's
if
do
it
more.
carries on.
Let's do more Geralt stuff. Here's more Geralt games.
Young Witcher, yeah.
The young
Geralt.
young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
How I became a witch.
How it became a witch. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. The trailers.
The trailers.
The trailers that we saw. Which were? Shall we do the special presentation one first? The shortest.
Yeah, the one that got leaked literally 20 minutes before the official one came out. I just found it randomly. I thought, this is fake, and then it wasn't fake because it came out shortly afterwards.
So the second special presentation by Marvel Studios.
Number dos. No, dose, yeah.
The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which has been confirmed to take place it's after Endgame. It's just before, or like a little bit before the events of Volume 3, I think.
Yeah, it's supposed to lead into it or tie into.
And it introduces some bonkers characters.
Yeah,
some of the most important characters. James Gunn said to the whole Guardians thing. It's nice that we kind of get this as sort of like, this is like the extra bit of James Gunness. We get this.
It's a little dose.
We get
yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Whilst I commit to a full universe and series with further DC stuff over there.
It's a shame because obviously that's born out of the fact that he was going to be the head of the cosmic stuff.
Yeah.
Like he would have inevitably done,
Nova.
Nova. He would have overseen more of the Adam Warlock stuff. Probably the Eternals would have had more of a gaze over from him, and whatever comes next to that, and the whole arc of terms of stuff happening out in space and maybe different small realms underneath our realm. But
yeah, maybe.
So basically, the Guardians are on Earth.
They are on Earth, yeah.
Which it's going to be nice to see how that emotional hook, of Peter Quill is, he's home.
He is home, and he hasn't. He hasn't been home at all. Infinity War, he was in space above Earth, on that spaceship, but he hasn't been on Earth since him as a child, presumably.
Yeah, so he's meant to be. It's 26 years later between the prelude of Guardians 1 and the main events of the first one, and then the second one takes place 6 months after. So he's been away for nearly 30 years at this point, surely?
About that, yeah.
It's about 28, 27
Because he got dusted and he got blipped. He was dead for 5 years. So really he's been like 33/27, 26-ish years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drax and
Mantis.
Mantis have stuff to do, which is great because I love Dave Bautista and Pom Clementif, and it's nice to see her appear again and actually get some lines. Kevin Bacon's in the trailer.
I know, the culmination of the trilogy.
I like that. That's a nice little thread of like Kevin Bacon.
It's consistent. It was a joke.
Various dance after Save the Universe.
You're coming with us as a present.
Exactly like Footloose. Is it still the greatest movie on earth? Never was.
Never was.
It's just Kevin Bacon, who has been in the Marvel Universe before as Johann Schmidt in First Class, just running away from
Fox
Drax and Mantis.
Yeah.
As they like jump up like bunny rabbit style, fucking assassin hunters
over
that are just trying
fences.
to catch him.
Hey Kevin, we want to say something. You're coming with us as a present.
Get some more nice building of Nebula, Kraglin.
Yeah, Kraglin.
They're all there because obviously they were all appeared in various capacities within Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I forgot that even happened. When I saw them in the trailer, I thought, we haven't seen them since Endgame. That's how minimal of an impact they had in 4. They were just kind of there.
I think it would have been completely different.
They had barely lines.
In Guardians rather than those.
Exactly.
Thor,
yeah.
Because obviously it was.
Yeah.
I think, after all that shit with Taika, I'm kind of a bit like, let's just, let him go back to making indie movies and
New Zealand dramas. Yeah.
Not just like go back to doing what he liked, because it's kind of like, he's reached his final evolution as a Pokemon. It's kind of just like, after all that stuff with the VFX people, I'm kind of like, and that's where we draw the line before everyone hates you. Let's stop there. Let's stop there. I still have a lot of respect for what he's done, not just like in the MCU, but like in terms of filmmaking itself. Like, he is a very clever man.
Brilliant and funny man.
I think like been on the blockbuster Hollywood train
for a bit too long
without having a bit of a break.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's
it sort of got to him a little bit. Yeah.
Possibly, but we shall see. But yeah, I look forward to a holiday special. It's definitely taking Omen and a bit of the piss from Star Wars, the holiday special, even if it's just the title. But the whole vibe of it is very kind of like, oh, this is stuff that you would never fucking get away with doing on film or anywhere else. So it kind of feels right.
Yeah.
Is it due out end of November?
November 25th, it got a date.
Yeah.
Yeah, November 25th. So it's literally the same week as like
Who-Mania.
Yeah.
The same day we talk about Jodie.
Who-Mania.
Who are you? And then the big trailer. In terms of scale
and size.
We got a first trailer because it was like the day before, just leading up to, like, we got new posters for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, including pictures of Kang.
Yeah.
And it was like and Peyton Reed had shared stuff that, like,
Peyton Reed put up a tweet with, like, it was like a comic book caption. It said
Ant-Man
something.
Will return.
Yeah,
like
it was some comic book caption in a comic book font, and it very much was like, trailer might be coming soon, stay tuned, or
and
something
then,
like that.
The next day it was up, and we got the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania first look, and it looks
quantum.
It looks great. I mean, in terms of, a man who would have never been part of this trilogy now rounding off his third film.
Somehow.
What
world do we live in?
We're getting a third Ant-Man film.
I know. Who would have said that back in 2015? Even 2014 when it even got announced. Like, who would have said that?
I can't wait. Like, obviously, there is no hangover left of Edgar Wright. Like, that, I think, went by the time we got Ant-Man and the Wasp, because that was like, all right, this is fully Peyton's baby now. He's doing this. And after his stuff on The Mandalorian... And did he do any Book of Boba Fett? I don't think he did.
I don't think he did,
But
I'm not too sure.
I can't wait to see what he does.
His culmination /
And if, if he ends up directing the Fantastic Four, which many people have tipped him for in the past, then,
I'm here for it.
I'm definitely here for it. I don't want this to be the end of his involvement in the MCU.
In the MCU, going forward.
I don't like, like Jon Favreau stuck around to be sort of the the curator / overseer architect of this thing to get to at least Avengers, and then by the time of Endgame he's kind of still potted about, done his bits in the Spider-Man movies, and sort of he was the template. I want there to be sort of like, if
another
Peyton
figure.
ended up in charge of the cosmic stuff, I wouldn't say no. Like, if he could do like a Fantastic Four or a Silver Surfer movie or something like that.
Or special presentation if articles and leaks are kind of happening.
To be believed.
Who knows?
It's just him in the surfboard shop. Like, can you make it silver? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we get our first proper look at the aftermath of the planet in the films, at least after Endgame,
Right. Yeah.
because obviously we're gonna get more of that in Wakanda Forever, but we've not got a look at that in the trailers.
No, we
And
haven't. No, that will be a surprise.
That's
yeah.
due out in a couple of weeks' time. So
Yeah, that's come quick.
We will see how that affects. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more insular and more focused on, Wakanda, not Atlantis, and other such Doctor Doomly factions that may crop up.
Latverian.
But this was real up because he is kind of this, like, not to pun off the trailer, but he is kind of the Spider-Man
Comic book, almost kiddie tinks angst, except Paul Rudd's a fully grown man.
and it's real world
And
things.
embracing
like, you
it,
see him
yeah.
back at shaking hands
He's
with the Baskin
popular
Robbins
now.
manager,
Yeah.
employee of the century.
He's moved on. Yeah. His
And
image
they
is
always
turned
say the same thing to me. Thank you, Spider-Man.
around. Yeah.
But I like that. That's a nice little play on that. Do you want a picture with me? I'm Ant-Man. These guys don't know who I am.
Exactly.
These guys don't know who I
Yeah.
am.
They do, except they do now.
Yeah, take the goddamn phone. We got what's her name? The new Cassie Lang, which I still think it's so shitty.
Is it Catherine Newton? Why is that name? Was she the former one? Catherine Newton comes to mind. I don't know who she is. Why is Catherine Newton in my brain?
You get that, and because I think it's still shitty how it was announced to the actress that played her in Endgame.
Oh no, I got it right. Catherine Newton is the new Cassie Lang.
Who, if you can just click on Cassie Lang and just see who she replaced in Endgame.
She first appears as a child, portrayed by Abby Ryder. Portrayed by Emma Thurman was her in Avengers Endgame.
Emma Thurman was her because obviously, like, for the 5-year gap, she's obviously older. Emma Thurman found out she wasn't in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania via the announcement of the third film and the casting of what's her name, Newton?
Catherine Newton.
Catherine Newton, yeah.
Yeah.
She seems okay. Like, there's a lot of chemistry there.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to seeing, because they're very Fantastic Four-y in terms of the family dynamic. If they've kind of expanded each time. She's obviously getting her own purple suit. I forget what her child kid Avenger name is.
Stature or Stinger.
Or Stinger, yeah.
Yeah, Stature.
We get a look at Evangeline Lilly with a comic accurate
recent comic
haircut,
accurate, and the suit.
Hopefully less conflicting views about the coronavirus pandemic and the vaccine.
Yeah,
once again, a Marvel star using their platform for the wrong thing. Let's promote good things and not this is bad for you, blah blah blah. Oh god.
There's always something.
Paul Rudd, as ever, is I like that because he's always been the comedy man. Like, even in his own films, it's sort of been like not taking himself too seriously. Like, the way it's written, like the dialogue, like his acting and stuff like that, and is very much a comedic foil.
Even in non-superhero stuff, he's just naturally.
It's the charisma and the machismo.
Natural.
But I would say, like, even like his use in Civil War is predominantly for comedic effect.
Yeah,
and to a point in Endgame, even though he's the reason that this sort of whole plan gets kicked off to actually save the universe.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
it comes from a comedic. I'm I know you know that. Yeah, I met a few years ago in the airport, and he's still doing the whole. Yeah, thank you, Captain America. I do, but I like that we're gonna get to a point where he is. He's having to be serious.
Instead of fanning out, he's going to be the one to be looked up to or looked down upon.
Yeah, we get to
pun
see.
Intended.
So there is a universe within the quantum realm. There's a beacon put out by Cassie, a signal. They all get sucked in. It's a realm that has a universe under our universe, which is where there is a certain Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Our first look at a variant.
The real / variant / big bad Kang, or do you think it's just Quantumania Kang?
I think it's just Quantumania Kang. I think there's going to be. I think, like, to combat Thanos, like we said before, like, to have a villain that you see over and over again, and each one learns from the last, and it's just relentless, and just wears the Avengers aggressive down kind of thing.
Brutal.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be opposed to this being like the big bad Kang, but I kind of like, have him.
Do you think he could potentially be introduced in season 2 of Loki?
I wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Majors was in some capacity.
I feel like he kind of has to be, considering off of that ending, going off of season 1.
And obviously he's ripped anyway from Creed 3, so. Yeah, Jonathan Majors as Kang, full suit.
Comic accurate face, kind of
comic
good to the
accurate.
fan art that was floating around as well. It looks
Yes.
very similar to that.
Very similar to that. No time chair, because the rumoured plot that's the leak going around is that they're that Shang-Chi's rings or the
Oh well, like in the post
bracelet
credit
from
Oh,
Miss Marvel are of the same technology when you look at the rings and stuff that he's using in terms of like what it is. And obviously, if you know from Shang-Chi, it's sent
the
out a
post
signal.
credit. Yeah,
An
right.
ancient thing. We like, it's hundreds of years older than we think they are and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
does he have to steal Shang-Chi's rings to power the time chair?
Do you think potentially that's why Quantumania and Miss Marvel swapped? No, the Marvels swapped if they're going to link. Because Miss Marvel's ending is obviously going to link into the Marvels as to them swapping places. And if it's the same technology like you just said.
It might all play in together. You might get a loose thread through Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, Ant-Man,
The Marvels
and the
to-
Marvels.
yeah, exactly.
Kind of might
Maybe.
be its own little thing, which
Maybe.
is nice.
Mm.
The visuals look great. I like that Janet's going to get more of a like push to the front role.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, in
Yeah.
terms of what we got with Michelle Pfeiffer in the last two films, like, this is...
She wasn't really in the first one at all till the end.
Yeah, it was just, like, bits and, like, things like of flash... I don't even...
Flashbacks of her in the suit, but you never saw her. So it
Yeah.
could have been another actress in it.
Yeah, and obviously, like, she is like a plot revolving thing of Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it's nice, like, there are consequences to that previous film. It's not just a thing of like, I'm out of there now, that's brushed over. Like, that's going to be the whole crux and the story of where this all comes from, and they're all going to, her, Hank,
I didn't
Janet,
when I was
her
there. I
Hank
didn't
Hope.
tell you about someone danger, or whatever she says in the trailer. It's like I didn't. When I was trapped, I didn't tell you about this danger.
Yeah, so we're going to see what that danger is. Is it just Kang, or is there something more
Presumably
sinister?
in Chronopolis, his
Yes,
city.
it-
That
yeah.
kind of looks similar to the one that was in.
The game?
But it was in one of the earlier MCUs. It might have been Ant-Man or Doctor Strange. It was like a floating city in the background
I think,
shots. It might have been.
I think it was Strange One.
Yeah, it looks similar to that. So
With
it might have
obviously,
been.
like, the stuff from the first Ant-Man when he shrinks all the way. I don't know, but yeah, it looks great. And obviously,
looks cool.
doesn't have a time chair yet. There's still
No.
rumours of a MODOK, played
Yeah,
by
Corey
Darren Cross
Stoll.
himself,
Yeah.
Corey Stoll. I
You see variants of Ant-Man
still
in
don't
one
want
shot.
him being MODOK. I want a proper
No.
MODOK. I want Patton Oswalt MODOK, but
Yeah, comic book MODOK, not this leaked yellow Iron Man knockoff MODOK. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that design.
Yellow Jacket Doc.
Yeah, I'm not.
Doc.exe.
Yellow Jacket Doc XZ. Yeah, no.
Yeah, man, looks so much fun. February the
17th comes to me. Yeah,
at the moment. At
Yeah.
the moment.
at this current second. Yeah.
But like, people look forward to films and then get fucking depressed when they don't do what they want. So just enjoy it, man. Enjoy these films.
Go to the cinema and watch it. Yeah.
But yeah, a good look at that is. Is that Phase 5?
It says here the first film of Phase 5. But then a question: if Black Panther: Wakanda Forever confirmed to be the end of Phase 4, the Guardians Holiday Special is like a bridge. Is that really the end of Phase 4, or is that the first instalment of Phase 5? Where would you put that?
I think that's Phase 4, and then everything after that will be
Phase 5.
including Guardians itself. It's all one thing. It's all separate things.
It was literally
It's
just
all
because
things
it was a
all the
thult.
time.
It was just a thought that I thought I'd share on camera.
No, I get it.
It was
Because
just
obviously,
kind of
by release date wise, it's like, where does this all fit? And it's kind
Yeah.
of like it matters, but also it doesn't.
To us nerds, everything
matters.
matters. Everything matters.
Just like, should we give? You know what? Let's save.
What we say
Let's
then?
save a full-on DC conversation for next week. Get your DC questions in for next week, because we can talk about the main news that James Gunn and
I forgot about the other fucking name. Someone I hadn't heard of. I just saw
I'd-
James Gunn and
I'd
went,
heard
yay.
I'd seen it as a name in an article, but
Peter Safran.
Peter Safran are the new joint CEOs of DC Studios, so we'll go into that, the implications for the future of the DCEU, whether it'll actually get a real name that all of them like and enjoy and share.
Yeah.
And Black Adam, how that kind of plays into it. Our basic thoughts on Black Adam are...
I would watch it more than once.
I'd watch it more than once, but I think it's distinctly vanilla.
Yeah.
For the majority, for 85% of it, it's vanilla. When he full-on showcases his powers,
I'd call it the Resident Evil light. That is in the 2002 Resident Evil, which again, it's on par. You'd watch it more than once, but is it good? that's questionable.
Yeah, it's up to you, the audience.
It's the Resident Evil installment of the superhero genre.
Stay for the post-credit scene. I haven't actually updated it onto my list. But we shall talk now about She-Hulk, because that finished.
Attorney at Law.
Because we'll just talk about the whole series in general, because we've done like our loose trilogy. Thoughts on She-Hulk overall as a complete show? I think it might be one of my favourites of the whole thing. Like, I really did. I just dig it, man. Like, I dig it so fucking much. Like, it's great.
It was fun. It was spot on. It was socially relevant to a time where, alright, I get this whole phase hasn't exactly been for everyone, and yes, perhaps there has been a bit of a lack of direction in terms of this multiverse saga, but then with the recent footage and trailers that we've seen this week, that hopefully might come to pass, and this literally She-Hulk wise was just a jab at everything that we all kind of thought, and it dug at trolls and the nasty side of the internet, and what
specifically this fandom as well,
the male side of the fandom, and what it's kind of like from a woman's perspective in a social private life. But then obviously it all changes when she gets a bit of the green goo, toxic bloody goo that infects her from the first episode and turns her into not the ugly Hulk smashing brute of a monster, better looking in Princess Fiona. She turns you into a bit of a She-Hulk glamazon warrior princess that is still a comedian and is related to Deadpool.
Because obviously she did the full breaking before Deadpool. Like, she was
in the comics. Yeah, she's older than Deadpool.
Yeah, certainly in terms of at least like just in terms of Marvel, like not relating to I think Harley Quinn does it. Does Harley Quinn do it? In comics, maybe? I don't know. But I think Tatiana Maslany is such a gem and a great find. And
casting,
a wonderful
if you're just talking about casting, I think she, behind Oscar Isaac, because he's playing three distinct, different people, in my mind, I think she's maybe second to first, like best of the new faces. I think she's my personal favourite.
I think, and out of the new ones introduced in the series, I think she's and truly.
She's perfect.
There's not been a single casting that I've disagreed with. There's just been storylines that have carried them better. Like, I think I just enjoy how it's, it doesn't, like you say, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It aims its sarcasm gun squarely at the audience that is watching it. You're here, like, if you're not enjoying it, don't watch it. Like,
simple
if you're
as.
just, why don't you wait for someone to tell you what episode Daredevil's in if that's all you're waiting for? Not watch it every week going, oh, God, Daredevil's not in it. I'm still unhappy.
Oh, episode 5. Oh, you saw him in a mask. So he's got to be in episode 6. Probably one of the most viewed episodes. I haven't looked at viewing ratings. I have no clue how it went. But I'm guessing that episode 6 in particular might have been up there ratings-wise, but only to then find out, oh, damn it, he's not in it. I'm going to go online and react to this.
Yes, it's all bad and horrible. And
oh, woman, we can't have that.
A bit fucking Boss Nass from fucking Phantom Menace. Planet Core. Fucking know.
What's the group called that She-Hulk goes up against in the finale? Like, what are they called?
Oh, because it's a thing from the comics. Like, it's a group like.
Are they from the comics?
Intelligentsia, yeah.
There you go.
It's like
Intelligentsia.
I think it's got I think the leader's part of it. Like, you've got all these really clever factions because they're all brain power. They turned it into a fucking internet forum, which is so good.
Relevant, yeah.
The Kevin Feige AI robot, the fourth wall break-ins. I think as it ratcheted up, I think it found its rhythm. Like, it was kind of like, this is what we are. We'll ease them into this whole thing, fourth wall break-in. I think from the wedding episode where it was like, I think this is coming at the inconvenient time in the season. That's what happens to weddings in real life. Just so inconvenient. And it's just like those kind of things. I was like, this show is here to fucking stay. And I hope...
for a season 2 at least.
I hope we at least get a season 2, if not just more Tatiana Maslany leading projects like this. Like, if it's a movie, fine. We'll see you on the big screen. Really? No.
No.
So
what about the X-Men?
My arc for season 2. So we can talk about this later.
Yeah.
A great supporting cast. Like, I think Mark Ruffalo, expanded on what bits they could because of the rights. Hopefully, fully returning next year from Universal. I think Tim Roth was a welcome elaboration and like fleshing out of his story. I would have liked to see.
Oh, but he did it. But he didn't sync with. But he didn't sync with how he was an Incredible Hulk. They've totally ruined the character, made him into goof. But that's the show.
I hated the voice of like him having just Blonsky's voice, because I like in, Abomination. It's like Venom. Like they are one being. Like he speaks like that. Like for a reason. It's just, and it felt very Korgy around Korg. Kind of thing of just like Tim Roth going, oh, calm down, kind of thing. It's kind of like a bit like piss off, Ghost.
Yeah, piss off, Ghost. Piss off, Hulk.
Yeah, that stuff. But I would like to see, hopefully, if not in a season 2, at some point, some conflict resolution, or at least some a more definitive story link to the Incredible Hulk, not just these characters. Let's actually have some retribution for Bruce and Emil. Let's have some kind of conflict resolution thing there.
Is he? Was he just playing
the possible planet Hulk?
Was he just playing a facade all along, or was he just generally like, "Hey, I'm in prison. I'm a changed man. I've got my pen powers that are totally not the Thunderbolt Suicide Squad.
I'm not saying he has to go
I'm
back
a goof,
to
man.
I'm not saying he has to go back to being.
You gotta believe me.
But
until I smash your faces and
I wouldn't be surprised.
Abomination smash.
I think had they not recast Thunderbolt Ross, which a lot of people have an issue with, because they were like, it's not like they were like, you've talked about like Hulk and Rhodey and stuff, but that was very early days. Whereas now that you're kind of bedded in, you're 40 odd projects in, it's kind of then to recast. Then like there are people like do it like T'Challa, like just retire the character or something. But obviously Thunderbolt Ross has got to be.
He's integral. Yeah, it's. I get that argument completely. I understand.
Even if this is the last appearance of the character.
Right, I completely understand that argument. The thing is, because we know the Thunderbolts is happening, they've shown the faces. They've literally shown the faces on a poster. Like we've just said, the Thunderbolt character, Thunderbolt Ross, is named after him. You can't not have a Thunderbolt Ross.
But you could have it named like in his honor or something like that,
or just call it something different.
And then Abomination would have naturally been the successor to the Red Hulk being part of that team.
Exactly. You need the brute.
And I think having Harrison Ford, a man who's 80 years old, he's not around for longevity.
No.
Whereas and there's no argument to be made that there's plenty of white general power characters that can sort of take the
role. Yeah.
Whereas with T'Challa, like Chadwick Boseman has started some wonderful work that the whole thing there, especially after the issues that arose from his co-star, like, don't let his work go for nothing. Like, have someone else come and not be him, but like put their, like James Bond, like have their own version of it to carry on the good work that Chadwick had started.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think there's going to be more than one Black Panther. I think third act you're going to have the whole thing of like you're going to have Shuri like up against it, and then M'Baku and Nakia will be there.
Yeah,
and then there'll be.
But all in suits, or do you think?
Yeah, all in suits.
All in Black Panther-y suits.
And then, like, between them, it will be, like, you've got the techie one, you've got the actual ruler, and you've got the muscle. Like, you've got, like, all, like,
Winston
together
Duke,
they are.
Winston Duke and he's, like, Hulk smash Black Panther suit.
Tight shorts from us. Specimen.
Big buttocks and a tight black spandex.
Step on me, daddy. All in all, I think She-Hulk was, like, it was such a different flavour, so much fun. And I think that's why I loved it. Like, it's like I love Hawkeye because it takes not a lot of risks, but it's fun at Christmas, and it's just stupid, and it doesn't really need to happen, but it happens, and it's great. Moon Knight for a completely different. Like, you can like all these shows at once. Like, you can dip in and out. If you don't like it, don't watch them. Like,
simple as.
Dip in and out for the ones you do like. But so far, I really enjoyed She-Hulk. It's definitely between that and Moon Knight for the best MCU show so far this year. We'll see if Secret Invasion can get close to it. I think Secret Invasion is going to sit at number 3.
Being crossover show as well. So
the first
so the whole
and only so far announced.
The whole impact and series. Consequence won't be felt in that one show. Like, we'll have to look at the Secret Invasion as like a duology or trilogy. However many projects is involved.
Yeah, what it bleeds into. I'm assuming it will have to bleed into probably Captain America. By proxy, Thunderbolts, because that will be of the same baby, and how that is possibly resolved by Kang Dynasty / Secret Wars. But we shall see. Speaking of resolutions of characters, of people playing characters for a certain amount of time on a screen, should we talk about the the Doctor of Who?
The Who Doctor.
Who Doctor?
The more specifically, the 13th Who Doctor.
Yes. Well, not technically, because
14th
10
War.
was 10 twice, so then it made him 11, and then basically 12 was Matt Smith, but they were all pushed up one by
Oh, Jesus.
War Doctor, so he's 13, so which makes Capaldi 14 and Jodie 15, and then the next regeneration 16, and technically Shooty's 17. But
Yeah,
apart
right.
from that, and then you've got all the Morbius Doctors and Ruth
Oh,
and the
they
Timeless
fit in
Children anyway.
somewhere. They fit
So
in somewhere.
and Sasha Dewan technically now as well. So
for like 20 minutes of the episode, yeah.
let's talk spoilers abound for The Power of the Doctor on
And more
this,
specifically, how powerful the episode was.
this Sunday just gone, the 23rd of October. It was on BBC One of all places. We got a 90-minute episode of Doctor Who
90 minutes
with a title of the Doctor, and no, it's not 2013, and it's not Day of the Doctor. It's Power of the Doctor. To celebrate 100 years of the BBC. The same weekend that on Strictly Come Dancing they were all doing a dance to represent a different programme from the BBC, and there was a Blue Peter presented dance to the Blue Peter theme tune. I don't know who it was that actually dressed up as the Doctor and did the Doctor Who dance. There was these loads of things.
I heard the theme tune. Mum was watching it and I heard the theme tune. I thought, Mum, you're watching Doctor Who without me. And she was like, oh no, chill out, relax.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Yes. 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall bow out on a high.
On a
meandering plateau.
Yeah, they're overlooking on the cliff, and they're in their car. They're not rolling down the hill, but they haven't got enough gas to really sort of get them over it.
So they're like,
They're
we'll
kind
just
of
stay here.
Yeah, we'll just chill. We'll just hang. We'll do a Spider-Man in our car.
Should we just let's do a 3, 2, 1 and rank this episode out of 10?
Okay.
Right,
No,
ready?
no scripting. We're just going to say a number between
Okay,
1
3,
and 10.
2, 1 and then say it. You ready?
3, 2, 1, blam.
Yeah.
Kablam.
3, 2, 1, 7.5.
Oh, okay.
I debated. I think it's like a high 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, if it's out of 10, it's 7 because
A
like, it's,
7.
yeah.
I should have said a half. No, I was going to rule out halves, but
Yeah, we
7.
normally because then it's technically out of 20. But yeah, it was a high 7, so it was kind of like not quite an 8, but
No.
a bit better than a 7.
I did have fun with this episode.
I had a lot of fun with it.
Mm.
I don't think that it's going to hold up well on repeat viewings, but
Yeah.
right.
And
so
the aftermath that we'll
the
talk about
bingo
right at the end.
card basically all happened apart from
Yeah, our bingo card, which we randomly scripted. We didn't randomly script. We literally said at the end of last week's episode. Yeah.
I'll try and get that up while you talk about briefly the story of this episode. And
Yeah, sure.
Some feelings.
I'll give you a synopsis. Yeah, so revenge stories.
Revenge.
Every Doctor, before they die, they have a revenge story. No, regeneration stories are obviously a once-in-a-lifetime situation for every actress to take on this iconic role. Every story is epic and grand in scale. We've had the Master again, spiders, a random geezer with half a face paint in Androzani caves. We've had the ultimate foe, which never really... That wasn't the end of Colin Baker.
The Valiard,
Yeah.
but then an exercise bike.
Exactly. We've had the Master as a cheetah cat person, which they reference in the episode, which was very
That
funny.
was quite good.
You have the Master as an American who always dresses for the
Master
occasion.
as an American.
That again got referenced.
It's an American lady.
You have Daleks. You have the Master, who 12 was the Master and Cybermen.
Matt Smith was a wooden Cyberman.
Forget about the Master, because we've got the Master again, believe it or not, the Cybermen, believe it or not, and the Daleks, believe it or not. The holy trinity of Doctor Who villains in a 90-minute full kablam finale. And does it sort of justify all three of them well enough to be in this epic extravaganza? I feel personally the Daleks were a little bit tacked on and tacked in.
I think arguably
The Master and Cybermen I would have understood considering where season
but
12
I think
was.
but I also like in terms of that. But apart from that, the Cybermen were kind of irrelevant. Apart from the trains.
Ashad, I feel, was completely undone by
Ashad
this
didn't need
episode.
to be there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
he was undone.
But fucking thingied over by one line, which kind of pissed me off. I'm so glad I cloned you. Why?
Exactly. That killed every bit of threat integrity that he had, and
So
it was
we
like,
start
well,
off on a
okay.
train where there's Cybermen are looking for seemingly this girl.
In like some vortexy
Why?
sci-fi background.
Why?
Yeah.
Just cause.
But random symmetry starts in a train, crashes in a train, ends. Well, she doesn't end in a train.
Her journey ends in
yeah,
a train.
yeah.
The start of the end of her journey ends
Random-
on a cliff, but yeah, it's a literal cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we
wow,
had
yeah.
everything apart from important character death, I would argue.
An important character death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jasmine kiss didn't happen.
No, which I'm pissed about.
Pop music definitely fucking happened.
Oh, yeah, Rasputin, I am the master,
That-
and I dance to this song.
Dan gets with Diane. No, didn't see that.
No.
But I saw a leaked image from the premiere that he was down on one knee proposing. So I don't know if there's a edit.
Like a deleted scene.
Yeah,
or
just a
something.
thing of like we don't need that. I'll talk about that one last because that's maybe hanging. That's a hangover from this era.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Belle and Vinda baby reveal didn't happen.
No.
Yaz
Belle
turns
wasn't
on the
in it.
Doctor as much as everyone was expecting her to be the one to shoot, because obviously that scene in the trailer of the gun, and then Yaz is like, it's her, keeping an eye on the Master, like having the gun pointed on him. So apart from those, we had everything else,
Yeah.
which we'll get onto very briefly. One thing that pissed me off a lot: Dan not being in the episode.
No, exactly. Even if it was a tacked on deleted scene of Dan proposing to Diane, I think that would have at least completed his like a season and a bit arc of him as a human. Alright, he wasn't fit out for the space life. He was there for comedic and audience purposes, but at least he would have got the girl that he wanted at the end.
Yeah.
And it kind of would have fit with Graham's, I've lost my wife, I've learned how to grieve and lose and deal with that aftermath.
Yeah.
And then you would have had the opposite
he had
spectrum
a
of
bit
Brad.
Brad,
Dan, whoever
we'll
the fuck
get
his
on.
name
Yeah,
is.
but that's the thing. It's just so like Dan's in danger, like he nearly dies, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't. Like,
mask.
don't have to come back for me," kind of thing. And they just get on with the adventure, which feels very tacked on. And when
It
you
did.
read that apparently John Bishop started his arena tour around the same time it was filming, I kind of, if it was me, like I know, like it's easier said than done. I would say,
You say he started his arena tour?
yeah, because obviously he's a comedian, isn't he? John
Oh, I
Bishop.
see. Yeah,
So,
I was like arena.
So I would have said, like, I kind of would have been like, I've really enjoyed being in this. Like, I'd like to kind of finish it because it's the last one, and I know I'm probably not going to be back in the next era.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big hole for me. It was a kind of thing of like, because then it kind of feels like, well, why was Dan here? Why was Dan
Exactly.
here in the
Why
first
did he
place?
not get killed off in?
Why did he not get killed off or leave at the end of Sea Devils? Did he not think,
Exactly.
you know what,
Yeah.
this isn't for me. I need to be with
Diane.
the woman I love. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that could have ended his arc, and then you would have had a final, just 13 and Yaz story, and then have
Yeah,
him turn
right.
up at the end like he does anyway.
Exactly.
Because
Better.
that felt weird. Because I think, especially when you look at Graham and how he turned up, that should have just been Dan.
I get Dan if he was leaving at the beginning of the episode, but then due to his choice or due to the plot, like he had to get dragged
involved.
back into
yeah,
it.
and he's
He
like,
had-
"Oh, I have to help," kind
exactly. Yeah.
of thing.
He had to come back.
Tegan and Ace, very good.
Yeah, I feel like
This is
Ace
the most
in
I've. This is,
particular.
this is the most I've liked Tegan in a long time.
Yeah, she was having fun. Janet Fielding was having a cracking old time.
Janet Fielding is great.
She was amazing.
I like you said. So this was obviously, it was for the 100th anniversary of the BBC. So there's a lot of things that feel nostalgia and fan servicey. Some of it didn't gel as well with the story as others.
Right, absolutely.
I think
yeah.
the consciousness thing worked really well.
Mm.
I think the thing of just like, oh, how's your aunt? You keep her in a doll's house and things like that was kind of just like, this is
Yeah.
just for. Did you watch it in the 80s? Because that's what happened.
Yeah. Oh, did you know the A word? Not anal. Adric. Adric.
There was some nice payoff for that kind of stuff though.
yeah.
Like the fact
Regardless if Big
with-
Finish
with them
might have talked about it or not, or whatever. Regardless if Big Finish might have done it in the audios, like in case you haven't seen the audios, this is our take on it. That's kind of how
Yeah.
it felt like.
I would say that them relating to the previous villains and Unit, because I don't think either of those two were affiliated with Unit in any capacity, because
Tegan and Ace.
the Doctor wasn't working for Unit by
No.
the time from the fourth
Count-
Doctor onwards, far
Eight-
after he left Earth.
I was thinking Ace and Countermeasures in Resurrection of the Daleks, but then Countermeasures isn't to do with Unit. Countermeasures is its own separate London, like 1963 Operation Branch. I don't think it's a part of UNIT.
Mm.
I'll say, yeah, ACE and countermeasures, but other
Because
than that...
he obviously was Chief Scientific Officer, left Earth, and then sort of did it in like an advisory role when he was Tom Baker, and then didn't really return as Peter, and I don't think Colin ever crossed paths with anyone from... Apart from
Not
the Brigadier.
on screen.
Did he cross paths? I think
Not
he
on
saw...
screen. Not on
I
screen.
think he did.
Audios, he definitely has.
And then obviously Sylvester Stallone, the Brigadier. I don't think... Because the Brigadier was retired or something like that at that point. I don't know. But, yeah, man.
Tegan met the old Brigadier in Mordrin Undead.
And in The Five Doctors.
Right, yeah. But other than that, it weren't UNIT story. It was just the Brigadier was there by coincidence and plot development. Let's just have Nicholas Courtney there for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, the legacy of Nicholas Courtney was felt in Kate Stewart, who had a role in this.
Had stuff to do, had stuff to say. Not just I'm going to stand here in the background. UNIT was rebuilt or is being rebuilt
in construction.
And I don't know about you, but with the incoming era and some of the worldwide distribution money that's going to be coming in from its platform, I would not be surprised if
spin-offs. Yeah,
because Russell has talked about, it should be like an MCU thing, like it should have spin-offs. Like,
I mean, can we get the cat out of it? Considering if internationally Doctor Who's going to be on Disney fucking Plus.
Yeah, which was rumored before, and it was kind of like, oh, that's scary.
But kablam, it's happened.
But considering it's a co-production with Bad Wolf, that's going to bring more money into it.
Massively. Massively.
And because Josh Nez said it's hard for him to get hold of new episodes on broadcast.
Right, yeah.
So for him it's going to be a thing of he can just watch it in full like HD 4K whatever it's
wherever they release it in,
see it like an actual contemporary program and actually watch it properly. But yeah, that's good. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of teased a thing of this might not get picked up again, but it kind of could be like Torchwood again.
Oh.
And I think there is a Torchwood-sized penis hole in this storyline. In terms of Captain Jack, I think was definitely in this. Shall I tell you where he was, or do you already know which character is in place of Captain Jack?
Oh, Bradley Walsh was the old man incarnation of Captain Jack. We didn't get
who is in place of Captain Jack in the story?
Yeah, Graham.
No, I think Vinder.
Oh yeah, okay, Vinder.
Vinder felt like we need someone
a reference from the last season. Yeah,
we need someone that's friends with the Doctor. We don't have to introduce them and do their whole backstory because we don't really want John to be on it now because he should have just apologised, and we know all that. We don't know why we're saying this out loud because we all know that. But
we're not going to have him for obvious reasons. So Vinder, you'll do.
And there was no payoff of Carvanista Bell, the as yet unborn child, which I honestly thought was going to be revealed to. It's you, Doctor. Yeah. You were this baby.
The Master.
And here's your origin.
The Master Reborn.
Not like the Master would just be and this is thing, and then obviously maybe the events happen and the child gets separated, and then that's how you get the start of the timeless child bit in the end of series 12 when she's found by
that would have at least
maybe would have brought it full. So I felt like we were going to get something like that, but no, we just have Jacob Anderson on his own. No knock against Jacob Anderson.
Oh no,
really enjoyed him in the very few parts we got in him in
brief
Flux.
Minutes. Yeah.
But
at least he was in Flux.
Yeah,
he wasn't really in this episode much at all.
Yeah,
I feel like he got mainly 7 lines.
I've been carrying this around since you gave it to me.
Yeah.
And kind of gets involved in the story and is a bit of a help. I feel like he could have done more. Classic Chibnallness of it was going out on a high, and I think it was mostly succeeding. There's just a few things, like you say, the Daleks feel superfluous. Vinder didn't really get enough to do. I think Tegan got the least out of her and Ace.
Oh, definitely.
But still did, I think, enough to warrant her being there.
Oh, yeah.
And you kind of got a bit imposter syndrome because Yaz got a bit pushed to the side again, for a little bit. And then her resolution of her arc felt a bit rushed because it was just kind of a thing of let's just, let's not say goodbye.
But it didn't, that's what I mean. But it didn't then have that emotional final send-off to capitalise on the era. It didn't go for the kiss. He didn't go to confirm the feelings that at least Yaz would have had for the Doctor. They still, in their final scene before the regeneration, yeah, you can see in Yaz's eyes, she kind of like lingered as if she wanted the Doctor to kind of notice and like at least comment on like, yeah, we've had some great times. Like, it's been a really like me and you've had some great times in here. But you felt, even from Yaz's point of view, we felt like as fans, or at least the ones that were shipping for them, like there wasn't enough there to kind of bite it off. And in the end, it was just like, oh, I'll drop you off. But I have to do this next bit alone.
The whole Phasmin thing felt tacked on in
as
terms
from
of
the beginning, yeah.
Like, maybe you because we all know that's the reason in series 12, after series 12, she's still looking for her, is because like she can't live without her kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like from there, you do that. You've seen it for all those things. Like even when Jack talks to her about the thing of like whether you leave her or whether she leaves you, like you're never out of the Doctor's life kind of thing. And it was kind of like a thing of like, like with Clara, like the obsession thing of like I can't give this up.
Yeah,
that was her thing. It should have been born more out of like her genuine love, because together I think would have been a much better love story had it been
a
throughout.
Yeah, exactly. A brave,
and not just a thing of like let's do this on the last go round kind of thing.
The last 2 or 3 episodes, yeah.
But
with no payoff.
I think Jodie was fabulous.
Oh yeah, she was great in this.
I think Mandip was top of her game, but didn't get given enough to do.
Yeah.
I think the fucking MVP for this episode has to go to Sacha Dhawan as the Master.
Multiple versions, even technically playing the Doctor.
Yes, because the Master wants to the punishment for, what was it? The punishment for? It's a punishment for something because he mentions because he basically mentions the events of the war games, like and the ultimate punishment is forced regeneration.
Forced regeneration,
because that's happened to you before, hasn't it, Doctor? They did that to you once. But
that was when my eyes really went, oh my god, fan service overload. I can't that's when I was shaking.
Basically forces the Doctor to regenerate into the Master, so then the Master lives in the Doctor's body, and the Doctor goes through this whole psyche and like talks to her own consciousness. We'll get into that, but I think Sacha Dhawan's performance as just the Master on his own, like in Italy, like he's doing that sermon to all the tissue compressed people, like he's doing that whole seminar.
University scene.
Then the stuff as Rasputin was fabulous.
Yeah.
And the stuff as the Doctor, like he's like, I need some new clothes, and just dresses up in an amalgamation of the Doctor's outfit, which is clearly just, this is the 100th anniversary of the BBC. Here's all the things you remember.
It was like the seventh and the 5th outfit. It was weird. The 7th vest with the question marks.
Yeah, and the stick of celery, David Tennant's tie, and Tom Baker's scarf. Yeah, I'm the Doctor, and I like that plot point of, like, he wanted to become the Doctor to basically tarnish her name and legacy.
Which I think
want
he's
you to know that I'm the Doctor and I cause this. I was like, that seems very the Master to do when he knows that the whole reason he exists and his biology is what it is because of the Doctor. Like, the Doctor became the blueprint for Time Lord society on Gallifrey after Tecteun discovered her.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yes, but yeah, I love all that. I love the Rasputin song that a lot of people edited the trailer for when they saw him in costume. But when he plays the song before so it's basically a Death Star-like planet powered by the girl that was kidnapped, which is actually this weird starfish thing that can channel the energy, which we never kind of really discover properly. We just kind of like, this is what you think, this is what you do.
Yeah, it was there. Yeah, it was there.
We go into my favourite bit is when the Daleks and the Cybermen just look at each other when he's dancing around to the Rasputin song, just like, is this guy for fucking real? I think being
the Master is better at one thing. What is
dancing?
Dancing.
You are better at dancing. I like how I like the use of the Cybermask, because obviously how did you escape Gallifrey? Very perceptive of you, because obviously they chuck in that ADR line of quick in here quickly before the planet explodes. That's just before Ko Sharma's presses the detonator. You hear him like in here quickly, so like you get like a reprieve. And I think the Cybermasters work really well in terms of like being shot at and they just regenerate, and it's like wow.
they're unkillable. Yeah.
And even the regular Cybermen, like you say, I think Ashard was
just ultimately shat on because of that line about him being cloned, because
I killed him
whole
once,
plot point.
But he's forgiven me for it.
No.
That whole thing, once you get tissue compressed, you are dead.
Exactly.
And it was like, we've got another one. Like, it works the other way. And like, basically, it's a Russian. It's basically like the Genesis arc, but for Cybermen. Loads of Cybermen walk out.
Yeah, right.
Including a clone of Ashard.
He was a human Genesis arc. Yeah.
Including a clone of Ashard that is played by the same guy. Still very well. Still amazingly terrifying.
Cinematography, the way he's shot, and you only see the left side of his mouth with the human side. I love all of that.
like it's still as good as it was in Haunting of Villa Diodati and Ascension of the Cybermen. It's just that character, like you say, is made less effective, and it's just like, oh, it's a throwaway thing, it's a clone, so it's not the real one anyway. So why do we care?
He's here because he has to be here because he's the reason why these lot of the Cybermen are intimidating.
Yeah, he's one of the best villain. Like that was the thing. Like to have it as a one and done, and then to essentially he made the Cybermen scary. Like
ideally, you wouldn't have had him past season 12, the season 12 finale, and then he would have come back maybe in a Tennant special, and I think he would have been Tennant versus.
Not even that, just like a reference or something like that. Like,
like, he's out there,
like another one like a shard, like of that same kind of thing. Like you would not to do that again, because then it kind of, like you say, it belittles what came before, because it just makes the universe quite small. If I decide to clone that exact Cyberman and have him act exactly the same way, even though
take away him in Powder Doctor, and the last we would have seen him would have been season 12, or even heck, if the Haunting Villa Diodati was just a one episode, one job, a shard is out there in the universe, I would have loved to see a Tennant special. I mean, I'm not just pitching the idea like it's happening. Tennant against an Ashard Cyberman
style thing, maybe, possibly. I mean,
for one episode,
we could do. We don't know. I would say that. I
don't want it now because of this episode, but
we talk about the consciousness of the Doctor,
not the nesting.
So the Doctor is like in her own mind. Like there's this telephone pole with like it's just this void space. It's very. It felt like.
Didn't they call it like
Mind
the
Palace?
They called it like the edge of reality. Just the edge. Yeah. The edge of existence.
We are here to stop you from like passing through, like, because if you don't like
regeneration,
like the master, then we stop existing, because I like to, like a lot of people said, they like to think of like these people that we are about to talk about are the fragments of their original incarnations that then just become part of your consciousness, and like that is what happens. Like after having all these personalities, they become part of you, and that's how all the Doctors like embody the same sort of beliefs and like have morals, that same calling and moral compass.
Ultimately,
we are greeted with, like, before the voice, like I saw the hair and I was like, that's David Bradley. And we got the contractual obligations of David Bradley. Every 5 years he has to appear, or every couple. No, every 4 years. No, every 4 and a bit years, because he did a thing for Time Fracture, which was exactly 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Exactly 4 years after Twice Upon a Time, which was 4 years after he appeared in Adventure in Space and Time. So this is just a year later, kind of thing.
Okay. I was just kind of surprised to see him.
Like, not just playing the first Doctor, playing like an amalgamation of like.
My initial thought was Curator. I was thinking, is he?
I mean, it gives credence to the Curator thing, and like,
especially with the ending as well, with the whole 14th Doctor, which because the fandom's
I've got
about
a theory that might disprove that it actually being that face. We shall see.
Okay.
But then I like how, as the camera passes round, possibly in COVID guidelines, it just is how the transition. But every time the camera sort of passes or flows around Jodie talking to
the
herself, her consciousness, it changes. We get the voice of Colin Baker, and I love how, like, a lot of people have said online, like, I love how Doctor Who is just, it's not up for this de-aging thing. It's just, this is the Doctor, like, their soul gets older. They are still the thing.
Whether you like it or not.
We can still obviously reference back to the time differential line that we get in Time Crash. It's like, that's why it looks a bit older, because 2V there shorts it out, and then like it counteracts the age gap kind of thing, but it all snaps back into place, and you look exactly the same as you did in the 80s when like everything goes
those
back to
episodes
normal
happened.
But obviously this is the consciousness, and they are playing essentially like elders
versions
in
of
their robes.
It's if those incarnations never died and they just forever lived on.
And then we get a Peter Davison, and that was great. That was a nice surprise. I think the best one for me was Paul McGann.
And the fact that why is he not wearing robes? No, there's always one.
I don't wear robes. There's always one. I'm an amalgamation of my consciousness. I can wear whatever the hell I like. And people were like, "That's just Paul McGann, like, just turned up like that." Like, he just has it. But he's also wearing a more distressed, toned version of the costume from Night of the Doctor. People were saying that this did more justice to his character than Night of the Doctor did. But I argue that both are equally as important. And Paul McGann still looks fucking great for 60.
Oh,
Jesus
God damn.
And then we get Sylvester McCoy rolling his R's.
I felt least surprised. I feel least surprised with him because of the whole shooty comments, and he felt was kind of
and the
active
fact that
in the
he
community.
kind of sort of reprised the role in the trailer for season 24.
That's what I mean.
It was nice because there was and built-in AI. There was a lot of similarities to the RTD era. There was, if you're watching like the hologram, like if you're watching this, I'm dead or about to die kind of thing, like series one. You had the whole team flying the TARDIS at once at the end.
Yeah, Journey's End.
You had the Master playing an upbeat pop song while they try and conquer a planet or fire a devastating weapon, like Sound of the Drums, Last of the Time Lords.
Yeah.
Took a lot of cues from that, but it's all like we said. I don't think the first hour will hold up particularly well on a rewatch because a lot of it is the element of surprise and shock in your first viewing experience. I wept like a child, like this, because Doctor Who means so much to me.
I was going to say, what bit? Were you talking about the end? You're talking about.
I'm talking about
the moment that was prepared for.
Not about that. I'm talking about the AI interface with Ace and Tegan.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, no, right, yeah.
Like that got me because Doctor Who is a show that I have loved since I was
a newborn child.
9 years old. Like basically, like from 9 years old, like I've loved this show. I can chart most of my life experiences and things.
Teenage me loved that. Yeah.
Off of series I've watched or Christmas specials. I can fucking coordinate my life depending on how and what. And rewatching it, I get the nostalgia and the feeling of what I felt the first time I watched it. And Confidential is what got me into wanting to make TV, and we'll hopefully get into that because there is still time, and it's the whole reason I like have these kind of opinions on stuff like this and movies and stuff. Like it was all kind of born from this
Doctor Who,
and having revisited like some classics, probably not as much as I would like to.
Yeah,
like having a payoff for. You kind of got this. It was like the Sarah Jane moment of like you sort of like dumped me in like Aberdeen kind of thing from School Reunion. It was that, but like Tegan was. So the AI interface of Jodie, like the emotion of and the link of the companion, changed the appearance of the hologram, and it would basically perpetuate to their Doctor. So we got Davison in full Fifth Doctor costume, having a conversation with Tegan, and
40 years. She says 40 years leading
38 years ago. I'm going into my fourth decade, kind of thing. And you sort of look how you used to. I could say the same for you. And I've never got on with the Fifth Doctor's era. I think it's my least favourite in terms of I just don't gel with it a lot. Right. I don't dislike or hate any Doctor. It's just,
no, I don't particularly.
For me, that is. That's a phone number that I don't know. Like I would say that it's like I still got like when if you know what I'm thinking, like what am I thinking about all these Cybermen about? He instead of over chibnalizing it and like talking about all the things, it just goes Adric, and that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah,
and that got me, and it was just I've missed you, and it's like I've missed you too, and I was like that was
brutal.
That was I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like that was good, but then when you think about what comes next, because we get a similar moment between Ace
and Seven,
and then like so like need any help, but you seem to be getting on. Like okay, as always, it's it's fine for me to blow stuff up when it's necessary. Nothing changes, and then we just get it's never okay to blow stuff up, and then we get this whole thing because we never got a payoff for them two together.
No.
Like
not
where
on
it
screen.
Ended kind of thing.
And their relationship as a whole, as far as the companions and Doctors go, is very vast and not complex or complicated. It's not like in a relationship way, but they were essentially a pair. They left, like they went their separate ways. They got back together, they left. Got back together, they left. They've been very much like travelling and non-travelling. Ace has left.
She went to be a Time Lord at the Academy, and then
exactly. In terms of expanded media, she had left the whole lifetime worth of stuff that she had to deal with without the Doctor's involvement.
Yeah.
How much of that they refer to on screen, we'll never know because they didn't obviously delve deep into it. But again, it confirms that they've got history.
Yeah, and there was a falling out reference by the Master. And I was like, sorry we fell out or whatever. It's like all children leave home in the end.
Yeah.
The joy is watching them fly. And it's like, are we okay? It's like, we're more than okay. We're Ace. And by that point I was gone. Like I was like, this is such. Like I know this is 90% fan service at this point, but that was.
This is like the
nice, beautiful payoff that I didn't even know I needed to there.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
Ace
of
is
course.
one of my favourite companions. Like, there's such deep underappreciation for the Seventh Doctor era in general. Like, the last season is very proto New Who. Like, it is the test run for Series 1 and Rose and other such things. I like that we had Colin on screen. I like that we got more David Bradley, Paul McGann.
Yeah. All those.
It's a shame that we didn't have a Colin Baker. Tom was asked.
He was asked, but he just said
But
no.
he was unavailable at the time. We don't know whether this was down to scheduling or his health at the current moment is.
Right.
He is, like, not bad, but he is not
No.
as healthy as he used to be. Like, the man's, like, nearly in his 90s. Like, this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of course, yeah.
Unfortunately, there will come a time when there will be no... Like, I think had he been in it, it would have just... Like, because you obviously saw that, like, Sylvester had, like, less to say, like, in that bit with all of them. Like, they gave the majority of it to Paul.
Yeah.
Which I think was nice.
Yeah.
I like I like that. Well, the reason that Davison and Sylvester McCoy arguably get the least out of all of them in that moment is because
they have more
their
to
scenes
do.
later.
Yeah, exactly.
So we get a nice sort of bigger bit of Colin. Maybe more David Bradley would have been nice in there, like the face morphs. I know you can see the faces if you stop the frames, like for Trout and for Pertwee.
Oh right.
Okay. And I've not spotted anyone with screenshots of. I've seen Chris. There's a brief Chris moment.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know at what point. I think it's after one of the scenes, either after the Tegan scene with 5 or the
okay.
Ace. There's the flickering of. It might be Joe Martin. It's when, because obviously we get Joe Martin in it as the hologram as well, which is nice.
Closure.
9 Doctors in one.
Yeah.
There's a brief bit, I think, like either before or just after with the Master, like flickers, and you can just sort of see, very similar to Day of the Doctor, you can just see like very much the top portion of Chris. Like you can see like the hairline and the eyes. But that's obviously as far as it goes.
Yeah.
We don't get David. I've not seen anyone with a screen grab of Matt or Peter.
Unfortunately.
But there probably is. They
Somewhere.
might be back next year. We don't know.
Oh, we don't.
But what we do know is
the whole Doctor Who fandom does not know what's coming next year.
The plot kind of then supersedes and fixes itself, and then it's like we're back in the same body again. We've got to destroy this planet. The Master very much gives a Rassilon-esque, you'll die with me, Doctor. If I can't be the Doctor, then neither can you.
No one can. Yeah.
The Master is definitively killed on screen. I think we all look at the body being shown on screen, lifeless and not moving, and say, "He'll be back."
Yeah. Yeah, he always finds a way. He's essentially the Master is a slasher icon. Like, you might kill them, you might burn them in the basement, you might dismember them in a.
But Halloween never truly ends.
They never end. Yeah, they never end. They always find a goddamn way to come back.
And the energy blast is what knocks Yaz out. And we get a nice parallel with Kaiser Vandrazani, but it's the companion taking the Doctor back to the TARDIS.
No.
Them all flying.
I've seen that scene edited with like the bad wolf, like Rose theme. I was like, that's nice. Yeah.
God, the early series. Oh God, I want to watch it again. Back to the TARDIS, and then you almost get a reenactment of the parting of the ways, like with. But it's the Doctor waking up on the floor, like, what happened? like I took everyone home, like, and then like
a bit anticlimactic.
And then we get there, like, look at your hand, and then they have like ice cream on the roof of the TARDIS, like, let's not say goodbye.
I thought the whole a plot point that the Doctor techno babbled as well. When she went to touch or pat companions on the soldiers, there was like a static of electric shock, and I thought that was just like a future. That's how she knew she was going to regenerate. I thought it was because of that. But then that was just part of it.
Or it was going to be like an Artron energy related style thing.
Exactly, but that was just a techno babble. Oh yeah, I've installed a transmitter chip, plot reason because of the Master's scheme and blah 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 blah. But I thought when she couldn't touch the companions and like in that moment, I thought it was because like, oh, she knows that she's going. But yeah, I'll just say that I think the reason why I get the Master was in her body and kind of fucked her up internally, but aside from getting hit by a laser or an exploding jellyfish laser, I think that's a little bit weak. As to why she had to leave body.
Yeah.
Like,
But obviously,
if it was
I
the touch,
think
I get.
the implication is that it was started off by the forced regeneration. Like,
I'm sure. Yeah,
like that's killed a lot of.
that's
cells
what
and
my
kind of,
mind is telling me. But realistically, yeah, all right, she got her body back. She seemed fine in the moment, and then she got hit or knocked by some laser, and it was
kind
kind
of
of
just like tipped her over the edge of like, she definitely can't stop.
It weren't like a critical, oh shit, I'm bleeding, or my leg's gone off, I can't walk. Like, it weren't critical. It was just kind of a, oh, I fell over, I've now got to change. But yeah, the master was in her body and fucked her up, basically. But then, like you say, then you get the final goodbye. You get them sort of. They weren't eating ice cream, were they? But they literally were staring at the earth, and that's when you should have got the payoff to the Phasmin relationship, and at least to this era, and capped it off on a brave but appropriate high. And like a sort of fuck the haters, regardless of what they would have said to their relationship and their dynamic. But they didn't go for the kiss. They didn't feel like a complete closure. It was just a, oh, I'll drop you off. This next bit I've got to do alone. And then the doctor drops Yasmin off, and then is it? Oh, we totally haven't talked about Bradley Walsh properly. As such, he was just there with the Daleks and the volcano.
Yeah, he just set up in the volcano, helped Ace out, and then was like just there.
I'm here, I'm Graham, and Ryan got a one-line reference. He's like, "Oh, he's not it.
He's in Cambodia or something like that."
Yeah, literally,
Patagonia, that's the one.
Yeah, literally, he was like, "Oh, he's in Cambodia," and that was
so they've obviously started their investigating things like that they said they would. Yeah, great. Great fan servicey stuff, and I like how she ends. Like, she ends with a smile. She doesn't end like with heartache or like
doom and gloom,
screaming against the dying of the light. Very much like there was a point where like she probably just regenerated on that cliff top, and that was just a cliffhanger, not knowing.
Have you seen Who Addict's video on it?
Or if the series would continue past it? No, I've not yet.
No, because basically that's exactly what you said. When the camera panned away and it could have ended. Just cut to black, and you wouldn't know who the next Doctor would have been.
Yeah,
like that's what Who Addicts or
because obviously
James Sibley said.
She didn't know who it was because she hadn't filmed with them. Who Addicts saying a lot of questionable things online anyway, so let's No,
I thought they were cool a week ago.
Cool, but obviously, like they're like who is it? The
what in the video?
Who are the like? There's James is the one that came back. Matthew, yeah. Matthew's before has been very vocal about like his dislike for this era in terms of like things that have sort of like been very conflicting in terms of arguments that have happened on Twitter and stuff like that, because you come out with a wholehearted negative opinion and someone's going to come like with a wholehearted positive one, and like it's opposing forces and stuff, like even like just in terms of like you said stuff about Jodie before, and I was like, you're kind of wishing her whole tenure away, and this was before series 12, and it was like no, like kind of not like that. I think it's just like with you've been like you don't have a particular fondness for this era, but you don't dislike it. It's just a thing of like
no, but
you are more excited for realistic.
Yeah, but that's the thing. On to cap off, like before we talk about the regeneration, but like admittedly, this last week, the last how many days has it been? 4 days.
3.
But by the time this comes out, 5?
5, yeah.
For the time this comes out, the whole reception, regardless of your thoughts about this Chibnall era,
it's already gone on.
And we're not getting it till November 2023, but I feel like it will become the in show to watch.
So we get the regeneration on the cliff top. That was rumoured, I think, from one of the leaks. I like her last words.
Tag you're it, or
Doctor whoever I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Tag you're it. Like I like the whole thing. Oh, that's
she didn't get a speech, but then it was nice and fitting for her run.
Yeah. I like how she sort of when she leaves, like she like leaves the TARDIS when she's on the cliff top. She's like look after the next one. I just want to take in one more sunrise. And then her line about the blossomiest blossom is a reference to a Pertwee line from Planet of the Spiders.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And does that, and she's like, oh, it's the only sad thing, I want to know what happens next. And that's like a nice thing like for Jodie and for the audience kind of thing, because like she will always be part of this show, thankfully, and I hope that we get to see her come back at some point, like even if it's a nice little cameo, like not a full appearance an anniversary special years down the line. I'd love to see Jodie return in some capacity. Unless Doctor whoever I'm going to be, tag you're it. And I think that's just such a nice cute, because she was a child. She was like very childish wonder and amazement, and could be serious. The seriousness, I think, is what was nice to see at times, but also it's not what Jodie's Doctor was. Like, she was the happy-go-lucky Tennant light, Doctor,
Yeah, right.
which is ironic. Then regenerate and the clothes change, and as
For the
soon
first
as
time.
the first time since 1966, because
Right,
they just
yeah.
kept him in the different outfits, and no one really knew the difference because it was
was in
just
black and white.
overexpose it and then underexpose it.
Exactly,
Um,
yeah.
I would say that as soon as the outfit came up, I was like, "This is it." So
9-year-old me came back, and I was like, "Holy crap!"
it's David Tennant.
Yeah.
I know these teeth. And then we get
What?
the reprise of the what cliffhanger,
What?
which a lot of people have found a problem with.
Why? Why have they found a problem with him going what?
So I don't know if you know Jude online. He very good Doctor Who fan. Did some live reactions on TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that.
Okay.
Obviously, like the reveal of that, it's just like the reprise of the what felt a bit sort of lazy, and a lot of people have said like to see the show. Like, obviously, it's going to go forward, but it feels like it's going backwards before it goes forwards. Like, it's literally regressing in front of
It's
your
only
eyes.
4 words. It's literally, my teeth is weird, which in an episode that's very referential heavy, even the Blossomiest Blossoms, which I had no fucking idea that was a Pertwee thing.
But obviously it's a Russell line
really?
because the incumbent showrunner takes over in the dying minutes from the old one. That's how it works.
I mean, but that's how you would react. If you had a face that you had before, you would go like,
Yeah, and it's obviously part of the mystery. But
how?
Yeah,
What?
But it's the whole thing of like Tennant's specials or finales would always end on the what cliffhanger, and that was kind of thing of like that felt lazy and easy. Like people, like,
it's impactful
because people want RTD2 to be like RTD1, but you can't be exactly the same because to copy the same thing that show that the show made in 2005 to 2010 does not work in 2023.
No,
like it doesn't.
No.
And I get the point of like it does seem like it's going backwards to go forwards. Obviously, from a marketing and promotional standpoint, it's Russell going because he reveals that there was a text between the three of them, him, Catherine, and David. It was like, I'd be good to do one more, like just to do one more. And obviously, with the anniversary coming up, and he probably knew that he was going. Like, I think this was just before it'd been announced that he was coming back with Lila.
Right.
And I think he maybe told him that it was like, you know, like we could maybe like I think that they would at least give us one. Like even if it was just for the anniversary, but obviously it's going to go over 3 episodes that are reportedly all in November next year.
Exactly, yeah, all in November. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if this was a lie and it was spaced out because why would you film a Christmas special a year in advance?
True.
Because they would do it. They've been. I think they're on the 3rd one because it's. They're either. I think they're finishing off the 3rd because the series starts proper filming next month. Like the actual series 14. Starts filming.
Shooty Gatwa season. Yeah. Okay.
So obviously it's the thing of like the cliffhanger. How does Shooty come into it?
Yeah.
You see him briefly in the trailer.
Yeah.
Tell me what the hell is going on
here.
I can't tell whether that's his native Scottish accent or his English RP one. Or
it sounds like Eric from Sex
yeah.
Education at the minute. I mean, from all we know, he could be a human in that shot and everything. He might just be an ordinary citizen for the majority of the episode until something plot-driven happens and he has to become the Doctor.
I've seen the theory that he doesn't actually regenerate into Tennant. Like, Jodie doesn't regenerate into Tennant.
Okay.
That the Celestial Toymaker, who is rumoured to be
Neil Patrick Harris, who was definitely in the trailer.
Yeah. That the Celestial Toymaker can warp and distort reality. So maybe the Celestial Toymaker has distorted the Doctor to... Because that's
an
why
older
the clothes
incarnation.
Change. Like, so maybe that's all just on the surface of, like playing mind games and making him look like a previous incarnation when underneath it's just Shooty, possibly. Which I don't hate. Because.
But then if Shooty in the trailer is fake and he's just like, what the hell's going on, and that's just part of the Toymaker's imagination.
No, like Shooty's real, and then the facade of Tennant is the illusion, a la Doctor Strange kind of thing.
But then what happens to that fake real Shooty?
Like stopping the Celestial Toymaker then brings forth Shooty, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. But then that would obviously have to go across the 3 episodes that him and Catherine are in. Because they're not just in one. Because we obviously assume that it would be them 2 in one. We'd maybe get Smith or Capaldi in another, possibly. I still won't put it past more than one Doctor to be in it, because obviously if this is all 3 of these are a Doctor trilogy for the 60th, to then be like...
Or like the 14th Doctor trilogy to then go into the 15th.
Because a lot of people said this, it's going to be purely driven by nostalgia, but it's going to look at the past and celebrate it like a good anniversary.
And get the viewers back.
And look to the future, and to get that you get arguably the most popular and most
recognisable face,
general public friendly Doctor in David Tennant,
the Doctor, for a lot of people.
That's what you do. But I would say
even the baby's excited about talking about David Tennant. Yeah, no, Tennant RTD2 is happening, whether you like it or not.
Got a new logo.
But I mean, judging by the reaction, I mean, people are going to be back for Doctor Who. It's going to become a good show, isn't it, little baby Noah? Huh? Little 16th, 17th Doctor you are, aren't you? Kindness for everyone. That's what you are. 21st Doctor right there.
We'll find out, I guess, in a year's time what David Tennant's going to be up to.
What the future holds.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's exciting. I think it was powerful. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't. Yeah. Pardon you. It wasn't.
He was excited.
It wasn't like groundbreaking in terms of the episode itself.
No. Oh God, no.
But
no.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than a lot of
the era.
Definitely than Legend of the Sea Devils.
The era ended on a stable note.
Yeah, and I think that when we get to our review later on in the year of the whole era, I think I want to rewatch the whole thing. I think
I'm going to
more kindly on certain aspects of it, but we'll see, won't we?
Yeah, Noah's going to have to watch it whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. Got no idea what's coming for you, do you, kiddo? No. But yeah, that's it. There's not really much else to talk about because we don't really want to go into it because we've got a big, old, massive conversation to have about all of it. So,
okay. All right.
There's not even any stiff opinion. I mean, our stiff opinion can be that we liked it.
Yeah. Controversial. Doctor Who was good again.
I honestly thought that you were going to be like, oh, God, it's shit,
terrible
it's over.
Episode. No, I mean, the shit is now over. It's been clean slate, and alright, nostalgic worries about 4 words at the end of an episode, whatever. I mean, that's a bit silly for my stiff, far-fetched opinion, but I'm only one person on one podcast, half of a podcast. I'm excited more than ever for not only the resurgence of what I call the Doctor, the most recognisable Doctor. Mm-hmm. I mean, RTD, R2D2, whatever you want to call him. Over the years, has said about never returning to Doctor Who.
But I feel like be something in his
the
brain.
BB's not just money. I hope not just the power.
No, he's clearly had ideas past it and
brewing. Maybe it's been a lie. Maybe he's wanted to come back. Whatever the theory is, thank God, and he's going to get at least some part of the general audience back. And
he definitely will with David. But, we shall see what the future holds.
9-year-old
next time.
9-year-old me is excited to watch Doctor Who again.
And Noah's final word is chewing on the pop filter.
Trying to eat them.
Alright.
Okay.
Connie, you do the outro because I've got to just prise this microphone out of his hands.
Jesus. Little empty child with the microphone. Yeah. Stay kind. Noah, do you want to say something? Do you want to cap off? Are you going to... No? Okay, you just... just no.
Thank you for
to quote the Doctor, be kind. Doctor, whoever you'll be, whoever any of you be the next Doctor, tag you're it. Be cool, watch Doctor Who, spread the love, let it grow, and all things come and pass and regenerate in an all new form. And Noah agrees with me.
Yes, he does, yeah. He's just sad that it wasn't Matt Smith.
Yeah.
Until next time.
I know, I want Matt Smith too.
Follow our page across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you've not done so already. And if you want electronic mail.
Oh, the email. nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com.
And now you have to leave. Bye-bye.
He's been kicked from set.
Causing a ruckus.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, Happy New Era.
Happy New Era.